a little bit over 3 years now. We've been seeing positive reception, but we get even more reception during the holidays. And the reason that's the case is that a lot of people are really, really interested in trying to figure out exactly how to decipher the information as it relates to the car sharing industry. And they're trying to do that not just because they want to be part of it, it's just the trends are very informative. Is that how you say it? No, informative. My bad. The trends are very informative if you're paying close attention to them. And the reason why it's good to pay close attention to them is because there's opportunities, and these opportunities may not be available for everybody. It's available for only those people that are constantly looking for ways to balance their needs. When I say their needs, I'm talking about they're thinking about maybe starting a car sharing business, but they don't understand the best way to get after it, or they have started a car sharing business, but things haven't been going the way they wanted to go, kind of deal. So, what I've been hoping that you can kind of help me understand in the whole process is to say, yes, I've been wanting to start a car sharing business, but I haven't quite understood the dynamics of the industry. So that's why I'm constantly trying to learn more. And if that's you and you're joining the live right now, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, and consider joining our channel, because in this channel is where you will get the exclusive tip that I've been talking about. And this tips is for select individuals that are looking for ways to improve their position in 2025. In other words, they're looking for ways to say, we have a lot in this industry, we have a stake in this industry, and we're not just going to stand idly where somebody else comes on board and tells us what we should or should not do in the car sharing space. And even with that, some people are still a little bit nervous about it, right? So there's like, no, I don't think I'm quite ready for it. I have things I have to do. And because I have things I have to do, it's probably a good idea to be able to say, hey, look, I am really sick and tired of people just not giving me the right information. And that's why I'm here to give you the right information. And this information that I'm providing is to select individuals. And these individuals have been looking wide and researching trends in cars. What I've heard right now is the car makers of Maserati and the other ones, they've been actually looking for a way to understand exactly what they can do. And when I say understand what they can do, they've been thinking that things haven't been working quite the way they wanted to work. And because things haven't been working that way, and they've been actually saying that it doesn't make any sense to understand people that are racing to nowhere. Sometimes, people just race to nowhere, and they do that because they think for some reason their cars are very fast and all that kind of stuff. And but the thing is, if your car is not fast, it's not fast. Don't just pretend that your car is fast because some people want to race. And if you really uh, break and peel back the onion, the racing thing doesn't really make sense for some car owners because let's face it, some people think naturally aspirated engines are good and they're good for racing. But to me, is it the sound of the engine that makes you want that kind of an engine, or is it the sound of a regular engine? Let's face it, since the invention of the automobile, there's been variations in the engines of these vehicles, right? And it's getting to the point where some people cannot differentiate between the turbo engines, they can't differentiate between the naturally aspirated engines, and they don't understand the negative or positive aspects of it. So because they keep trying to experiment and tinker with this whole thing, and for some reason it hasn't worked. It works for some people, but it doesn't work for others. And that's what I want to get to the bottom of. If you're coming right now, go ahead and smash the like button. Appreciate you. Hey, it's going on, Ali P. Appreciate you. So, and on top of that, this so dynamic of things that are happening in the industry right now. For example, people are saying that Toyotas are good; they can get you where you want to go. I'm most likely a BMW guy, but that's not all I drive, right? I also drive. Performance Teslas like the ones you see me driving right here. And I'm also thinking, hey, isn't it about time that people take over what they want in terms of vehicles, in terms of prices, in terms of the deals? I tend to think the deals are only as good or as plentiful as you want them to be. Because again, remember, what I've seen so far in the industry is that people tend to give a lip service to what they're trying to do, right? So like A lip P, right? People tend to give a lip service to things, and the thing about it is you can't just give a lip service to something that you don't understand just because you want to be part of the in crowd. And I think sometimes that's what happens. People want to be part of the in crowd and they don't understand. Hey, do me a quick favor, buy me some coffee. There's a link right there where you can go ahead and contribute $5 or something so I can get some coffee. Can I count on you to do that? Good, good. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the comments. And so going back to the engine and the fact that some of these engines are not really what people are selling them to be, and the engines, for that matter, that some people are selling are not exactly what you think they should be, right? So if an engine is not what you think they should be, or if an engine, for that matter, doesn't meet up to your specifications, then I think it's time to kind of consider possibly changing a car. But the thing about it is the build what you're looking for, or is the engine the centerpiece of the build? And I think that's one thing you got to be very, very mindful of, because some people tend to think it's all about the build, but for some reason it should not be all about the build. And the reason I say it's not always all about the build is because there's something else that's going on within the dynamics of the automobile and the engine, for that matter, that contributes to the overall satisfaction of the experience when you're driving a car with a certain make or model, right? And that's what I've been trying to tell people a little bit. It's like, look, the make and models could be a deceptive way to kind of get you to try something else that you know you possibly don't want to try. And the reason you don't want to try is because you quite don't understand the dynamics of this stuff, right? If you understood the dynamics, then you'll be in a better position to say, yes, this is not just the dynamic that I'm looking for. It's not just what I would spend local dollars on, in other words, expend a lot of expenditures to be able to try such a car, but it's something that I'm comfortable with driving, because when I drive it, I get satisfaction from the drive. I get satisfaction from the way it makes you feel. Do you ever feel connected to an automobile, but sometimes you think, well, I don't know if I'm really connected to the automobile or if the automobile is connected to me. Are you one with your car? Some people tend to say yes, they can feel what their car is doing and it makes them one with their car. But on the other hand, they can say, no, I do not feel what my car is doing, so I'm still trying to get comfortable with the car. And there's nothing wrong with that if you're trying to get comfortable with a car because somebody sold you on the wrong car. And now you're having buyer's remorse to the point where you're thinking about going and turning the car back in. Has that happened to you before when you bought a car and you're thinking, hey, I made the wrong decision about this car, the incentives weren't right, the deals weren't right, and oh, by the way, I cannot get rid of this car now because of depreciation. And oh, I'm here to tell you that even with the depreciation fiasco, you may not be in a position to be on the upside of the vehicle purchase like you intended to. That may not be the case anymore. And I think a lot of people have been caught up in this kind of a dynamic where they now have a vehicle which they don't like. They don't like the vehicle. They want to go back to the dealership, and the dealership is not telling them anything positive about how they can get out of the vehicle or how they can get into another vehicle that they actually want. Not just for the holiday, not just for 2024 December, but for 2025. And what would be the dynamic of you not being able to do that? So right now, I want you, if you haven't already done so, go ahead and look at the link below in the description and join the channel. When you join the channel, I'm going to be giving you a shout out through my life. You're also going to have exclusive access to my merch. Oh, by the way, there's a link right there to get the exclusive merch that I've already created for you guys, not just for the holidays, but for anytime that you want to enjoy the merch. Okay, so do me a favor, go to the link below. And oh, by the way, there's some books that I've created, some self-help books that are supposed to help you guys out, right? Check out those self-help books because I think they are good for you. Yeah, Lulis Sukiati, is that how you pronounce it? Appreciate your comments. Do me a good favor, tap the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. And if you're ready to get content like this delivered to you as part of my exclusive members channel, think about becoming a member. Okay, I would really appreciate your membership and having some conversation. And certain times I'm going to be doing some lives where I invite my exclusive guests, and this is select guests that understand exactly what we're talking about and want to be part of the conversation. So make sure you're tapping into that. Okay, yeah, do me a favor. Like I said, you can buy some likes. You can buy also can buy some of the exclusive stickers. Okay, some of these stickers will enable you to stand out during the chat section. Okay, like all things, the chat sections are dependent on participation. So what I mean by that is when you participate in the chat, everybody wins. So there's a baseline that I want to start the live with to say, hey, look, this is the baseline of the conversation, but that's not the end of the conversation. The other part I wanted to kind of get a good sight picture and get people thinking a little bit about is the fact that on the one hand, it's the holidays, right? The economic situation that I'm thinking is not quite done, and there's a book in the description below that you can check out if you want to learn more about why this economy is going to be set up for people that understand how to diversify their portfolio of assets. And when I say diversify your portfolio of assets, that also includes that also includes the vehicles, right? So the vehicles. Um, Sometimes, and I had a conversation with somebody, and I was asking them, hey, should I get into another vehicle right now? The way the economy is, would it make sense? And they were like, well, you probably shouldn't. You probably should take care of the one you have now and try to then monetize it. And but the thing about it is sometimes you you're unable to actually monetize what it is you're looking for two reasons. The first reason is that the industry is not quite ripe for you to get into it. And you can do this too if you go to Turo, go to Turo, and you can actually search the vehicles that you think you want, right? You can see the vehicles that are already rented out. What I typically would do is I look at the reviews, right? I look at the reviews. It's like, well, let me look at this vehicle right now. Let me see the reviews. Within the reviews, you're gonna see, and Turo has changed the rules now. To get a 5-star review, you have to have a narrative, okay? To get a 5-star review, you gotta have a narrative. And to me, I was like, well, yeah, you need a narrative, but sometimes the narrative is not all it's cracked up to be. Just because somebody's saying something about a car doesn't necessarily mean that what they're saying about the car is correct, and doesn't necessarily mean that their experience is going to be your experience. And I think that's the biggest takeaway that I've learned when dealing with situations of that matter, right? It's like people think, hey, yeah, your experience was good, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have the same experience that I had. But the question is that really true? Is that really true? So when I get back, we're going to talk about that particular experience. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you haven't already done so, it's probably a good time to do it. I'm going to go ahead and grab a little breakfast, and I'll come back later. Thanks for